I've learned that true power doesn't come from knowing every answer or solving every problem, but from mastering a few core principles that fundamentally change how you live. Today, I'm sharing with you the 10 Stoic rules that, when applied, will instantly level up your life. I'm talking about real, actionable strategies that can take you from feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or lost to being calm, focused, and truly in control of your destiny. These aren't just abstract philosophies, they're practical tools you can start using today to create a life filled with purpose, clarity, and resilience. And trust me, once you start applying these, you'll never look at life the same way again. These rules aren't just about surviving, they're about thriving and making the most out of every moment. So, stick with me until the end, because the final few rules are absolute game changers, especially if you've struggled with feeling overwhelmed or unfulfilled. Let's dive into the first rule now and start this transformation together. 1. Master time management. Time is the one thing we can never get back, and yet we often squander it like we have an infinite supply. I used to think I had plenty of time, that I could always catch up on my goals, but the truth is, every second that passes is gone forever. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about time in his essay On the Shortness of Life. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This hit me hard because I realized that while I was busy with distractions and minor tasks, the things that truly mattered were being neglected. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to master time management. This isn't about cramming your schedule full or hustling until you're burned out. It's about being intentional with every moment you have. The Stoics remind us that time is our most precious and finite resource. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, would remind himself every day that death could come at any moment, and that reality shaped the way he lived. Memento mori, the practice of remembering that we all must die, is not about fear, but about urgency. It's about recognizing that each day is a gift, and we need to live it with purpose. So how do you master time? Start by identifying what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What brings you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose? Then, look at your daily activities. How many of them actually align with those values? You might find that much of your time is being consumed by tasks that don't contribute to your overall happiness or success. The next step is learning to say no. This was a tough lesson for me, but an essential one. The Stoics were clear about the importance of focusing on what is within our control, and time is one of those things. By saying no to unnecessary commitments or distractions, you're preserving your time for what truly matters. You're taking control of your life. Another crucial aspect of time management is learning how to prioritize effectively. The Stoics believed in focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This philosophy can be directly applied to how we manage our time. Don't waste your time worrying about things outside your control, like other people's opinions, the future, or things that have already happened. Instead, channel your energy into tasks and goals where your actions can make a real difference. Finally, take time to reflect daily. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations about the importance of self-reflection and self-discipline. At the end of each day, assess how you spent your time. Did you work on things that matter to you? Did you let distractions or trivial matters steal your attention? Reflecting helps you become more intentional and mindful about how you will use your time moving forward. 2. Manage your finances wisely. Personal finance isn't just about managing your money, it's about mastering your desires and understanding what true wealth really means. Stoicism teaches us that the real measure of wealth is not in how much we have, but in how little we need. Epicurus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This principle is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago, and applying it to your life can radically change your relationship with money. I used to chase financial success, thinking that more money would equal more happiness. But the Stoics taught me a valuable lesson. Money is a tool, not the goal. It should serve you, not the other way around. This mindset shift can completely transform how you approach your finances. Instead of constantly striving for more, Stoicism encourages us to focus on living within our means and finding contentment with what we already have. One of the first steps to mastering your finances is developing financial discipline. This involves creating a budget, tracking your spending, and cutting out unnecessary expenses. The Stoic principle of frugality comes into play here. Frugality doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means being intentional about how you spend your money. Every dollar you spend should align with your values and contribute to your overall well-being. Living below your means also allows you to build financial resilience. Seneca often talked about the importance of preparing for hard times. He recommended practicing poverty occasionally, even when you're not struggling financially. Why? Because it helps you realize that you can live with less and still be happy. This practice builds mental and emotional resilience against financial hardship. When you know you can survive on little, the fear of losing material wealth has less power over you. Another crucial aspect of financial management is recognizing the emotional attachment we have to money. The Stoics understood that our emotions can cloud our judgment, and this is especially true when it comes to finances. Whether it's the fear of losing money, the excitement of making more, or the stress of debt, emotions can lead us to make poor financial decisions. Stoicism encourages us to detach ourselves from these emotional reactions and focus on rational decision-making. One powerful way to manage your finances wisely is to adopt a long-term mindset. Instead of seeking immediate gratification, practice delayed gratification. Invest your money in things that will bring long-term benefits, like education, health, or experiences that align with your values. Avoid the trap of impulse spending, which often leads to regret and financial instability. In short, the Stoics remind us that financial freedom is not about accumulating wealth, but about mastering our desires, living simply, and building resilience. By following these principles, you can not only improve your financial situation, but also cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment, knowing that you are in control of your financial future. 3. Cultivate critical thinking. In today's world, information is everywhere. We're bombarded with opinions, half-truths, and exaggerated headlines on a daily basis. It's easy to be swept up in the noise, letting emotions or biases dictate our actions. I used to fall into this trap myself, reacting to situations without fully thinking them through. But Stoicism has taught me that mastering critical thinking is essential to leveling up your life. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, believed that much of our suffering comes from how we interpret events, not from the events themselves. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Critical thinking is about taking a step back and examining our assumptions, emotions, and biases before jumping to conclusions or making decisions. Imagine you're faced with a difficult decision, whether in your career, relationships, or personal life. Emotions flare up, and you feel pressure to act quickly. But the Stoic way is to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, are my emotions clouding my judgment? What assumptions am I making? What are the potential long-term consequences of this decision? These are the kinds of questions that will help you see situations more clearly and make better choices. Another aspect of critical thinking is understanding that not everything we hear is the truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." In a world where everyone has an opinion, it's crucial to separate fact from fiction, to dig deeper and challenge the information we receive. This practice helps you develop mental clarity and independence of thought, making you less susceptible to manipulation or the whims of popular opinion. One technique I've learned from Stoicism is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves imagining the worst-case scenario and considering how you would deal with it. While it might sound negative, it's actually a powerful tool for critical thinking. By considering potential obstacles or outcomes, you can prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. You won't be caught off guard when challenges arise, and you'll be able to respond with calmness and reason rather than panic or rash decisions. Critical thinking also means being willing to question your own beliefs. The Stoics were lifelong learners, constantly seeking wisdom and improving their understanding of the world. Just because you've believed something for a long time doesn't mean it's correct. In fact, one of the hallmarks of a strong Stoic mind is the ability to change and adapt when presented with new, valid information. Developing your critical thinking skills also means embracing humility. Seneca wisely said, "The first step in the acquisition of wisdom is silence, the second, listening." By quieting your mind, you can truly listen to others, learn from them, and gather information. Only when you have all the facts can you make a wise decision. Silence, observation, and reflection are essential components of this process. To become a master of critical thinking, start small. Take time each day to question your assumptions. When presented with new information, ask yourself, is this true? Why do I believe this? Is there evidence to support it? By practicing these skills, you'll gradually sharpen your ability to think clearly, reason objectively, and navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom and clarity. 4. Master verbal and written communication. Clear communication is one of the most underrated superpowers you can possess. Whether in your career, personal life, or even in casual conversations, the ability to articulate your thoughts effectively can open doors and deepen connections. The Stoics, known for their focus on self-discipline and virtue, were also strong proponents of mastering communication. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Let your speech be better than silence, or be silent." This emphasizes the Stoic principle that our words should carry weight and purpose. For years, I struggled with how to communicate my thoughts clearly. Sometimes I would say too much, other times not enough. I realized that being misunderstood was not just frustrating, it was holding me back. Stoicism teaches that mastery over communication isn't just about speaking clearly, but also about speaking mindfully and with intention. Every word you say should be deliberate and aligned with your values. Think about the last time you found yourself in a heated argument or disagreement. How often do we let emotions take over, blurting out words we later regret? The Stoics believed in the importance of controlling our emotions and not letting them dictate our speech. Seneca said, "Speech is the mirror of the mind. If you're not careful, your words can reveal an unsteady mind, one that's reactive instead of thoughtful. But when you approach communication with the calmness and clarity of a Stoic, your words will reflect wisdom and intentionality." One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is the power of active listening. It's easy to fall into the habit of preparing our response while someone else is speaking, but Stoic communication requires truly hearing the other person before formulating a reply. This not only shows respect, but allows you to respond with greater clarity and understanding. By listening attentively, you can identify what is truly being communicated beyond just the words spoken. This skill is crucial in negotiations, relationships, and even resolving conflicts. Moreover, Stoicism teaches that our communication should be honest and direct. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Honesty, however, doesn't mean being harsh or blunt. It means conveying your message with integrity while still being compassionate and considerate of others. When you speak with authenticity and purpose, people are more likely to respect your words and take your message seriously. Written communication is equally important. In today's digital age, much of our communication happens through texts, emails, and social media. Stoic principles can be applied here too. Be concise, clear, and avoid unnecessary fluff. Just like with spoken words, written words should have intention. Before you send that email or post that message, take a moment to reflect. Is this aligned with my values? Is this necessary? Does it add value to the conversation? By mastering both verbal and written communication, you become someone whose words people trust, value, and remember. Finally, the Stoics believed that communication is as much about what we don't say as what we do. Silence can be a powerful tool. There are times when the best response is no response at all. Whether it's to avoid conflict, allow for reflection, or simply maintain your composure, choosing silence over unnecessary speech can elevate your communication to a whole new level. Mastering communication, whether verbal or written, is one of the most powerful ways to level up your life. It allows you to build stronger relationships, influence others, and create a life that's more aligned with your values and purpose. 5. Embrace adaptability. Adaptability is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Life is unpredictable, and the only constant is change. Yet, for many years, I resisted change. I wanted things to remain comfortable, familiar, and stable. But life doesn't work that way. The Stoics teach that the true path to personal freedom and success lies in our ability to adapt and thrive amidst uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To embrace adaptability, the first step is accepting that change is inevitable. You can't control external events, but you can control how you respond to them. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on what's within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses, and letting go of what you cannot control, like the opinions of others or unforeseen obstacles. This mindset shift has been transformational for me. Instead of feeling frustrated by setbacks or changes in plans, I've learned to see them as opportunities to grow. Imagine facing a sudden life change, like losing a job, a breakup, or an unexpected move. In the past, these might have thrown me into a tailspin, causing stress and anxiety. But now, with Stoic adaptability, I can pause, reflect, and ask myself, what can I control in this situation? How can I turn this obstacle into an opportunity? This practice allows me to stay grounded and find creative solutions rather than feeling overwhelmed by the chaos. One of the most powerful tools for adaptability in Stoicism is the practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This involves imagining worst-case scenarios and preparing yourself mentally and emotionally for how you would handle them. While this may sound pessimistic, it's actually incredibly empowering. By preparing for potential difficulties, you are less likely to be caught off guard and can respond with calmness and clarity when challenges arise. Instead of being blindsided by adversity, you've already thought through how to adapt and move forward. The Stoics also teach that adaptability requires flexibility of thought. This means letting go of rigid expectations about how things should be and embracing the reality of how things are. For example, if you've been working toward a specific goal and an unexpected obstacle arises, rather than getting stuck in frustration, adaptability means being flexible enough to adjust your strategy. As Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." To cultivate adaptability, practice accepting that life will throw curveballs. When things don't go as planned, pause, breathe, and ask yourself how you can pivot. Instead of resisting change, lean into it. View each obstacle as an opportunity to test your resilience and find new ways to grow. Over time, you'll develop the mental flexibility to handle anything life throws your way, and you'll discover a sense of inner freedom that comes from knowing you can adapt to any circumstance. 6. Learn to say no. One of the most important lessons I've learned through Stoicism is the power of saying no. It sounds simple, but for years I struggled with it. I would say yes to every request, every invitation, and every opportunity that came my way, even when it meant overextending myself. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, and I thought being agreeable was the path to success. But instead, I ended up exhausted, spread thin, and disconnected from my own needs and values. Stoicism, however, teaches that true freedom comes from knowing your limits and guarding your time and energy. Epictetus once said, "He who would be no man's slave must have the power to be no man's friend." This means that to live in alignment with your true purpose, you need to be able to say no to the things that don't serve you. When you say yes to everything, you are essentially giving away your power, allowing others to dictate how you spend your time, energy, and attention. Saying no isn't about being selfish or unhelpful. It's about recognizing that your resources are finite and that you need to protect them in order to live a fulfilling life. Think about the last time you agreed to do something you didn't really want to do. Maybe you took on an extra project at work that drained your energy, or you went to a social event out of obligation when what you really needed was rest. How did that feel? Did you end up resenting the task or the person who asked for your help? That resentment is a sign that you're not honoring your own boundaries. Learning to say no is an act of self-respect. It's about acknowledging what matters most to you and being intentional about how you allocate your time. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that we have the right to say no. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is a powerful reminder that our time is limited and we must use it wisely. Every yes should be a conscious choice aligned with our values, not a knee-jerk reaction to external pressure. But learning to say no is also about overcoming the fear of disappointing others. Many of us say yes out of a desire to please or be liked, but Stoicism teaches that we cannot control how others react to our choices. What matters is that we act in alignment with our principles. When you say no from a place of clarity and self-awareness, you are not rejecting the person. You are simply protecting your time and energy for the things that matter most. To start practicing this skill, begin by identifying your top priorities. What are the things that truly matter to you? What activities bring you joy, fulfillment, or help you grow? Once you've clarified your priorities, it becomes easier to say no to the things that don't align with them. And remember, saying no doesn't have to be harsh or abrupt. It can be done with kindness and grace. For example, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm unable to commit to that right now," is a perfectly respectful way to decline. By mastering the ability to say no, you'll regain control over your time, energy, and attention. You'll find that you have more space for the things that truly matter, and you'll experience a deeper sense of freedom and fulfillment in your life. 7. Consistency in exercise. Stoicism emphasizes self-discipline and consistency, and one area where this principle has profoundly impacted my life is exercise. When I first started my fitness journey, I was filled with excitement and motivation, but like many people, that initial enthusiasm faded. I would skip workouts, make excuses, and struggle to stick to any routine. But through the teachings of Stoicism, I discovered the power of consistency, particularly when it comes to maintaining both physical and mental well-being. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, understood that strength is not just a physical attribute, but also a reflection of one's inner discipline. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." He believed that physical health is intertwined with mental fortitude. Just as you train your mind through the practice of Stoic principles, your body requires consistent exercise to thrive. What I learned is that exercising consistently isn't about pushing yourself to exhaustion every single day or achieving perfection in your workouts. Instead, it's about showing up for yourself, day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. One of the key Stoic principles that has helped me is the idea of small, incremental progress. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Step by step, the thing is done." You don't have to overhaul your life overnight to see results. Just taking small, consistent steps will lead to big changes over time. Consistency in exercise also reinforces one of the most important Stoic teachings: focusing on what is within your control. You can't control how quickly your body transforms, but you can control whether you show up for your workouts. Some days you might not feel at your peak, but doing something, whether it's a short walk, a stretch, or a light workout, is better than doing nothing. Over time, these small efforts compound, and you'll notice improvements not just in your physical health, but in your mental resilience as well. Incorporating exercise into your life consistently also provides an outlet for stress, anxiety, and frustration. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality, and exercise is one way to bridge that gap between the mind and body." When you move your body, you release tension, allowing yourself to return to a state of clarity and calm. It's a reminder that you are in control of your actions, and through physical exertion, you can cultivate a sense of peace. To build consistency in exercise, it's important to start small and manageable. Set realistic goals for yourself and commit to them. Even if you begin with just 10 minutes a day, that commitment will build a habit over time. Don't focus on perfection. Instead, focus on progress. The Stoics believed that perseverance is a virtue, and by persevering through your fitness journey, you'll develop not only physical strength, but also mental toughness. Each time you choose to work out, you reinforce your ability to push through challenges, both in and outside the gym. 8. Meditation and mindfulness. Meditation and mindfulness have been essential tools in my journey to living a Stoic life. While the Stoics didn't necessarily use the term meditation in the way we understand it today, they were strong advocates of reflective thinking and mindfulness. Marcus Aurelius, for example, practiced a form of meditation by writing in his Meditations, which served as personal reflections on life, death, and the nature of existence. Meditation, in its essence, aligns perfectly with Stoicism's core tenet: focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what is not. Through meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without getting swept up in them. This practice helps cultivate self-awareness, a key Stoic virtue, as it allows us to take a step back from our emotions and respond to life with reason rather than react out of impulse. One of the most profound lessons I've learned through meditation is the ability to be present. As someone who often found myself dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about the future, meditation has been a game changer. The Stoics believed that the present moment is all we have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." When we live mindfully, we aren't shackled by regrets or anxieties. Instead, we embrace the now, which is where our power truly lies. Meditation also helps in managing stress and emotional turbulence. Life is full of ups and downs, and as the Stoics taught, we cannot control external events, only our internal responses. Meditation creates a space for us to pause and assess those responses. It teaches us to observe our emotions without judgment, allowing us to make decisions from a place of calm rather than from a place of emotional reactivity. Another Stoic concept closely related to meditation is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This practice involves mentally preparing yourself for possible challenges or difficulties by reflecting on potential obstacles in a calm and rational manner. While it may seem counterintuitive to think about negative outcomes, the Stoics believed that doing so actually reduces anxiety and makes us more resilient when challenges do arise. Meditation enhances this practice because it teaches you to sit with discomfort without being overwhelmed by it. To integrate meditation into your life, start small. Begin with just 5 minutes a day. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. As thoughts arise, acknowledge them, but let them pass without getting attached. The goal isn't to empty your mind, but to become an observer of your mind's activity. Over time, you'll notice a shift in how you approach your thoughts and emotions, giving you greater control over your internal state. By embracing the practice of meditation and mindfulness, you'll develop the mental clarity and emotional resilience needed to navigate life's challenges with grace. You'll find yourself more centered, more present, and more in tune with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, self-control, and tranquility. 9. Meditation. Meditation, while often associated with Eastern philosophies, is a practice that aligns deeply with Stoicism. In fact, the Stoics emphasized the importance of cultivating a calm and focused mind, which is exactly what meditation helps us achieve. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reflected on the power of looking inward to find peace, clarity, and resilience. For a long time, I underestimated the power of meditation. I thought it was too passive, something that didn't fit with my active approach to life. But when I started meditating regularly, I realized that it wasn't about doing nothing. It was about training the mind, much like the Stoics trained theirs to handle life's challenges with reason and composure. When you meditate, you're practicing the ability to observe your thoughts without reacting to them. This is one of the core principles of Stoicism, detaching from our immediate reactions to external events and instead focusing on our internal responses. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we react to them. Meditation is a practical way to build that skill. At first, it was difficult for me to sit still with my thoughts. My mind would wander, and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. But over time, I learned to accept that wandering thoughts are a part of the process. I stopped judging myself for being distracted and simply brought my focus back to the present moment. This taught me patience and self-compassion, two traits that are crucial for developing mental resilience. Through meditation, I began to notice a shift in how I handled stress. I became less reactive, more thoughtful, and more at peace with things I couldn't control. The Stoics knew that inner peace comes not from avoiding life's challenges, but from learning to navigate them with grace and composure. Meditation offers a way to practice this in real time, allowing you to face life's difficulties with a calm and centered mind. If you've never meditated before, start small, just a few minutes each day. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back. Over time, you'll find that this simple practice can transform not only your mindset, but also how you respond to the world around you. It's not about clearing your mind completely. It's about learning to observe your thoughts without letting them control you. By incorporating meditation into your daily routine, you'll build mental fortitude, emotional balance, and the kind of inner strength that Stoicism champions. 10. Waking up early. Waking up early has been one of the simplest yet most transformative habits I've adopted. The Stoics believed in starting the day with intention, and Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." In those quiet morning hours, before the world demands your attention, you have the opportunity to set the tone for your day. Whether through meditation, reflection, or planning, those first moments after waking up allow you to focus on what truly matters. By waking up early, you reclaim control of your time and start each day with purpose.